the light and the glory. I am as God created me, in the love and the light and the glory. I am as God created me, in the light and the love and the glory. Yeah, I am as God created me, in the light and the love and the glory. I am as God created me, in the light and the love and the glory, and the light, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory. I am there. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory. I am as God created me, in the light and the love and the glory. I am as God created me, in the light and the love and the glory. In the light, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory. I am there. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory. I am. You're welcome. Yes.
Maybe, oh, there you go. Thank you, thank you. I was going to say maybe my mic is jet-lagged like I am. Good morning and happy Easter Sunday. So good to see you all. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley in partnership with Unity of Medford. We are a spiritually progressive, radically inclusive faith community, and we teach spiritual tools to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for all. We welcome each and every one of you, no matter where you may happen to be on your own personal spiritual journey. We believe in one God, many paths. If there's anybody here for the very first time, we'd love you to raise your hands. Just we'll give you a little love. Anybody here for the first time? Welcome, welcome. Glad you could join us. If you haven't received a welcome packet, just raise your hand because our ushers will bring you one. Let's see. We have a cast of characters this morning that I'd like you to meet. Reverend Andy Anderson is our musician. Yeah. Our practitioner, Carol Wythe, will be doing our opening prayer and reading. Yeah. Reverend Stephanie Clark just did our meditation for us and is sitting high watch, which means she prays throughout the whole service for the highest and best good of everyone here. And I just want to, we don't always do this, but let's recognize our incredibly dedicated video and audio team.
Yes.
Yeah. So this morning, if I'm seeing everybody, it's Corey Rennick and Ben Rummel and Shannon Schnibbe and Tom Frederick. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything, Miss Vivian? You got to forgive me. Well, don't forgive me. Just know with me that I have clarity because I just got back from Bali Thursday night, and they're 14 hours ahead of us. So it's the next day, 2:30 in the morning, and I've had about 2.5 hours of sleep. But it was well worth it, and I'm really glad to be here. So what we're going to do right now is turn it back over to Andy. Oh, birthdays! Thank you. It's March 31. It's March 31, but tomorrow, April birthdays, and all week we have April birthdays. So if you have a birthday in April, we're going to invite you to stand, please, so we can sing to you. No April birthdays?
Wow.
There you are.
There you are.
There you are. So the words go at the end, happy birthday, we sure do love you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. We sure do love
And if I'm not mistaken, Ginny, I imagine, has brought birthday cake. Ginny, yes? Next Sunday, because next Sunday's April. So we'll celebrate with Ginny's incredible cakes next Sunday. Okay, so now we're going to take a collective deep breath as Andy prepares us for our invocation and reading. And as always, I'm going to ask you to hold your applause after this particular song, because we'll go right into prayer.
I forget sometimes, I know how to love, release, and let go. I get confused, can't see clear, don't know how. I sometimes lose my way. But then I open up my eyes and let the love inside begin to shine. I recover, I rediscover, I find myself. I'm alive, with the Spirit flowing through me now. I know I am love, I am joy, I am peace, I am beautiful, I am healed. Oh, when I know the power of my word that makes it so. I recover, I rediscover, I find myself. There's only one life, that life is divine, and it's me. Oh, when I wake up to what's possible, I'll allow myself to be free. And oh, I can see clearly now. All the joy and the beauty of life is mine. If I just believe, if I just believe. Oh, Spirit is all there is, yeah. Spirit is all there is. Trust the universe and know Spirit is all there is, yeah. Spirit is all there is. Oh, Spirit is all there is. Don't you know that Spirit is all there is, yeah. Spirit is all there is. Let it be in me as me. I claim my happiness, I am free. Then I recover, I rediscover, and then I know, I find myself. Ooh, yeah. Namaste.
Let's take a deep, centering breath and go to that place where Reverend Andy's words speak to us. That Spirit is all there is. It is in each and every one of us. And how good it is when we center in that knowingness, feel that love and divine harmony wrapped around us, holding us and saying, you are my individualized expression and I need you. And you are and always will be my God sinner. I am so deeply grateful to know that God is all there is, And on this day, this beautiful sunny spring day, we come to celebrate that and know that spring is here, that the stone is being rolled back, and that the birth of a new life, a reborn life, a life of divine connection and wholeness and gratitude and greatness, it's all ours. And we are here in this moment by divine appointment so that we can take in the wonderful program that Reverend Kimberly has to share with us, and listen to the incredible music that uplifts us and helps us to know, and for the sound crew and the kitchen crew and those beautiful children next door and the Easter egg, the hunt that's about to come. What a glorious day. A day for which I am so thankful. And I know that we are all uplifted by it. And we say together, and so it is. I get to read for you today an Easter reading from the founder of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, surprise. Holmes writes about the meaning of the resurrection in the journey into life. Today, the horizon is clear. The voyage starts anew. We are reborn. The true resurrection is not only from this life into the next. It takes place daily and hourly as we shed the limited concepts of life and come into the vineyard to gather the fruit of the Spirit hanging rich from the vines of God. A person may be reborn, remade, renewed in mind and body just through taking a little time to get acquainted with his or her better self, just through coming to recognize the invisible and almost unknown guest who accompanies everyone through life, the spiritual presence within. We should resurrect ourselves to the joy and simplicity and spontaneity of life, and leave the corpses of our dead yesterdays in the tomb of their obscurity. We should live more abundantly in God this day. We come out of our tomb of ignorance and disbelief, and how glorious shall be the dawn. And so it is.
So it is. Everywhere I go, I see God in the ocean and the trees. I see God in the love that's you and me. Oh, I see God. God is you and me, so beautiful to see. I'm living in the moment, so there is. I'm alive, awake and aware, with my good flowing everywhere. It's all I am, all I'll ever be. Oh, I am God. So everywhere you go, just see God, and everything you do, yeah, just see God, express the beauty in you. Oh, just see God. Oh, God is you and It's so beautiful to see I'm living in the moments, all there is. I'm alive, awake, and aware, with my good flowing everywhere. It's all I am, all I'll ever be. Oh, I am God. So everywhere I go, all I see is God. God in you, God in me. Everywhere I go, all I see is God. God is you, God is me. Oh, God is you and me. It's so beautiful to see I'm living in the moments, all there is. I'm alive, awake, and aware, with my good flowing everywhere. It's all I am, all I'll ever be. Oh, I am God. So everywhere you go, just see God in everything you do. Just see God.
Perfect setup, Andy. If we could do that, if we could just see God, everything would be okay. Yeah. I want to start by just thanking. I've been away for 2.5 weeks, and I want to thank. We have such a deep bench of spiritual leaders in our community, and I want to thank Reverend Stephanie Clark for her brilliant talk 2 weeks ago. Palm Sunday was last Sunday, about the inner Einstein that lives within each of us. In other words, we all have the divine intelligence, that inner voice that guides us. We all have it right here. And then last week, Laura Stewart kindly stepped up to preside, and Reverend Dr. Linda Rapond did a beautiful talk about standing at the threshold when we receive divine guidance and having the courage to step through. Because sometimes when we're guided to do something, we don't know where we're going or why, but it's so important to trust and to move forward. And I did just that. I feel I've had, I guess you'd call it a resurrection of sorts. And I want to tell you that I named the talk, before I left for Bali, Blessings from Bali, the Isle of the Gods. And it wasn't until later that I realized this is Easter Sunday. So I'm still going to talk about Bali, and I will tie in, of course, this very, very sacred day in Christianity of Easter. It is also towards the end of Ramadan, and I just spent time in a predominantly Muslim country, so I will also say Ramadan Mubarak, blessed Ramadan. You know, it's so amazing. Andy talked about seeing God in everything, and that's absolutely what I experienced the Balinese people doing. It was so amazing, and I'll talk about the many facets of it, but I learned so much from them. My heart is full. I may leak a little bit. That's okay. I have so much I could share, and I will try to hit the highlights, and maybe we'll talk some more in other talks about this experience for me. Just a taste of the kind of sacredness. Bali is called the Isle of the Gods, and the idea of spirituality permeates every single aspect of their lives. I was on 2 regional jets flying to and from Borneo from Bali, and both times the pilot came on to do the announcements like they always do, and instead of going into announcements, the pilot said a prayer. The first guy said something about, let's all go into silence for a moment and pray for the safety of this journey for all of us. And on the way back, they said something about, we give thanks to the Almighty, you know, for our safety. It was, you don't hear that in this country, right? And Bali is a place where, unlike the rest of Indonesia, it's predominantly Hindu, but Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, and what am I missing? I'm sorry? Muslims coexist beautifully, peacefully. It is quite amazing when I think about the divisions that we're having here on so many levels, that they can do that. So my intention for this trip was to have a deeper walk with the divine, and to open my heart even wider than it was. My intention for this year, I shared at the new year, was, and still is, to open my heart to love. And that meant for me love of and from the divine. It meant love of and from my community and humanity in general, and of and from a partner that I'm open to receiving this year, or this, when God is knowing the right time. What I didn't realize, another aspect of opening to love ought to be love for ourselves, and I'll talk about more about that in a moment. I was on a tour with a company called Spirit Tours Journeys of the Soul. It was purchased, I think, a couple years ago by a CSL minister named Reverend Karen Fry, who used to be the co-minister at CSL in Dallas with her wife, Petra Weldis. Karen now calls herself Minister Unbound. She is traveling all over the world to sacred spots, and it is an amazing, amazing service she lends. I will give a teaser right now, and we'll talk more about it later. But she has asked me to be the spiritual director on a sacred trip to Egypt in November of 2025, and I would love for anyone here to come along. There'll be a Zoom call on April 30th to give you all the information. It's only 18 spots, so if you want it, you're going to need to sign up right away. And it gives us a year and a half to save up our pennies. Anyway, this is an amazing company. She is an amazing individual. It is quite something. So, I wanted to go to Bali forever. Talk about that guidance that Rev Stephanie talked about, and then being courageous enough to step through the threshold. I've always wanted to go to Bali because I knew and had this sense of the sacredness and the being tuned into God that just permeates this culture. Ever since I read Eat, Pray, and Love, it was even stronger. I know some of you have probably read that book. So when I heard about this tour, Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn was the spiritual leader on this trip. She used to be our spiritual leader for the whole denomination. As soon as I heard about this trip, I didn't care how much it cost. I didn't care about anything else. I knew I was going. So I stepped through that threshold that Dr. Linda talked about last week, just following my intuition. So I want to share with you some of the things I learned. The first thing Karen taught us was the greeting in Bali. And the first slide is going to show you, you know what, let's bring up that first slide anyway. There's a different slide that I wanted to show you. I'm going to come down so I can see it. In Bali, even mundane things are reminders of the sacred. It is so true. And that photo I took in the beach town that we were in at the end of the trip. That's the ocean, that we were right there. It's gorgeous. So the greeting I learned was Om Swastiastu. You want to say that with me? Om Swastiastu. The next slide is going to show you, out of order, okay. Do you see the one that says Made Om Swastiastu? Maybe not, guys. These folks were kind enough to try to get these slides in order for me last minute. If we don't, it'll come up later and we'll see it. So Made, I have a picture of Made, who's one of our trip guides, doing this. And it said with a smile, and the Balinese people, we were taught this, look you right in the eye. It's not just hi and go on with, it's taking a moment to recognize the divine in each person. Om Swastiastu. It's a beautiful practice, even the children, and sometimes it's just Swastiastu. So the meaning, this is like a prayer when you greet somebody. It's the prayer hands, the looking in the eyes, the smile. It's a Sanskrit greeting and a prayer that the other person be blessed by the gods. It conveys peacefulness. It's a prayer for protection and harmonious cohabitation with all living beings. And the Balinese people, even if they don't know you, tend to address you as my brother, my sister. An older woman would be addressed as my mother, or just mother. It is a beautiful, beautiful experience. I asked Made, one of our trip leaders, what was this about the smiling all the time? Would you guys try the next slide? If these are all Chenangs, we'll talk about those later, but let's just try. Yes, like this. It's a man like this. No, no, it's a man. Thank you, Ben. It's a man close up. Yeah, yeah. See if we, yeah, there he is. There he is. This is Mare, one of our beautiful trip leaders who is the leader every time Karen goes and takes a trip to Bali. He's part of it, and he's just a beautiful, beautiful soul. So I asked Mare, can you explain how is it that Balinese people are smiling all the time? And it's not a phony smile. They're connected to you. They are there. They are in service. They are present. And here's what he told me on bus ride on one of our excursions. He said, we believe that we're here on the earth plane because we have karma from past lives to work out. And the best way to work out that karma is to be grateful, to smile, to be kind to other people. And that is what they do consistently. I heard no arguing, no conflict, no raised voices, nothing, until I got on the plane ride home and two women were unhappy with each other where they were sitting. It was amazing. So there is this daily reverence and gratitude for the divine. Now, the next slide that was coming up is flower mandalas. When I got to the first hotel, thank you. That's it. These are everywhere, celebrating beauty, celebrating God's creation. When I got to my little cottage at the first resort we stayed at, there was one on the porch. They're everywhere. They're absolutely beautiful. And the baskets around the edges here are called chanangs, which means a woven basket from a palm leaf. So let's see if there's one more slide of the flower mandalas. Nope. Ooh, there. That's a close-up of the chanangs. And what they are is they're offerings. So there's all kinds of flowers in there, and usually there's a lit incense across the top. You see them, first of all, people do devotions each morning in their homes and have these. It's an offering, and actually it's in gratitude to God, but it's also, the Balinese believe in demons and higher gods. So it's an offering for protection from the demons, and yet, I'll talk later a little more, they don't believe in separation. They believe the demons and the higher gods, there's only one life. So it's all part of one big picture. So it's not like there's fear. There's this idea that everything coexists. So these chanangs, we actually made these one day. They taught us how to make them, and I intend to grow some flowers this year because flowers are everywhere. Chanang, there's a whole name to it. It's Chanang Sari. And as we entered one thing you need to know about this tour company is there's one mandatory thing. There's spiritual practice every day for an hour and a half, and it's mandatory, which is really sweet because everybody comes together. As we entered the beautiful place where we had the spiritual practice at this first hotel, there was an altar outside, and it had water, incense, and flowers. And we were to cleanse our hands by putting them over the incense, bless ourselves with the water, and place a flower in our ear. And the three items on that altar represent the Hindu Trinity. Brahma is represented by the incense, Brahma the creator. Vishnu, who is the sustainer of life, is represented by flowers, water. And then the flowers represent Shiva, who is the destroyer, but Shiva is also a creator, because we can't create something new without destroying the old. And that's really the message of Easter too, isn't it? We die to this physical life, but we rise. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. So this beautiful, beautiful custom here of flowers everywhere and blessings. And you see them on the street. You see them as you enter a store. You got to be careful not to step on them and put out the incense, but nobody gets upset if you do. Sometimes on the steps leading up to an entryway, there's just individual flowers on the step. It's just beautiful. So there's this daily reverence going on. Bali is called the land of 10,000 temples. What I noticed when we traveled around, there were temples everywhere. And when I asked our guides about that, they said, well, there are at least 3 temples in each major town because there's one for each of the 3 aspects of the divine. This one, I can't remember the name of it, but there's holy water here. So the other great thing about this experience was we weren't just tourists. Most tourists cannot enter the temples in Bali. You have to be dressed in temple garb. So this tour company, when we got there the first day, we were each issued, men included, a sarong. This is not the sarong we were issued. It was more of an earth-toned batik sarong. We were told to bring white shirts that at least covered the elbow, and we were given these sashes. And we were taught etiquette for when we go in the Hindu temples, and we participated and we were blessed each temple that we visited. It was incredible. And so I think there's some more pictures, Ben, of temples. Oh, don't go so fast. That one of me. Okay, wait, okay. I know, it's hard. So this was me with the priests at, this was actually at Tanalat, and you'll see a picture. Tanalat is my favorite temple. You'll notice the pictures. So let me see the next one, if that's, this is actually a temple near Tanalat, and I have to look up the name. We didn't actually go in it. I think it's, see if I can find it for you. Well, I'll find it in a minute. That's the one you've probably seen pictures of. It has the archway, you know, underneath. And this is the place, Tanalat, where the land meets the sea. But the Balinese don't believe there are really opposites or anything opposed to each other. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's just see. There's another picture of Tanalat. This is just this is the outdoor part of another temple, which was built outside a bat cave. And if you follow me on Facebook, please check out my pictures. I mean, there were thousands of bats literally in there. Let's see the next slide. That's another example of the flower mandalas at the hotel outside. This is Saraswati's temple, absolutely gorgeous. And then one more. I think we haven't seen Tanalat yet. Even on the streets in the town, there's this architecture that is so gorgeous. You can see, I think, in the next slide, too, depending on... This is Tanalat. Now, you have to get to Tanalat at low tide because you have to walk across. So we helped each other across. And as I said, we were welcomed inside. And there were many tourists who were very jealous, some of them in T-shirts trying to get in, and were told, sorry, you can't enter. It's just absolutely stunning. So let's see where we are here with slides. Hinduism is the world's oldest living religion. And its ancient scriptures date back 4,000 years. They believe that following Dharma, our life purpose, the path of right conduct, right living, right morality, brings us good karma. And it ushers us toward what they call moksha, or enlightenment, and it allows the soul to escape the cycle of reincarnation, and unite with Brahman, the ultimate reality. Now, for me, this idea of peaceful union with all humans, with the divine, and with nature, it was just so moving to me because it's where I'm heading. It's where I've intended to go, and I've talked about this, you know, in this culture of ours where we're so divided and there's such division and you know, conflict. I want to let go of all of that. I want to let go of the judgment, let go of the idea of duality and separation, and know that we are indeed one. So it's in the Balinese culture, and of course, oneness is the primary principle in science of mind and unity teachings, that God, the Almighty, is all there is. There's nothing outside of God. So each one of us is an incarnation of the divine, and we can't be separate if we're all a part of that one life. Beautiful. The other thing we did during this trip for our spiritual practice, and some of you are, I don't think Morella's here today, is she? I'm sorry. Sorry she's not, because she studied Hinduism. We recited the Gayatri mantra each morning. And I'm going to say it once in Sanskrit for you, and then I'll talk a little bit about what it means. It goes like this. Om Bhurbhuvasava Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Divasya Dhimadi Dio yo na pracho dayat. We were given mala beads, and you know the practice is to say that mantra 108 times. And it's quite powerful. Here's the deal. This is a 4,000-year-old chant. And it's said that regular chanting of this helps you accumulate spiritual light, raise your own vibratory level, but also the levels of everyone around you, your family, your friends, your circle of acquaintance, the entire global community. This is what I felt from the Balinese people. It raised my vibration. This is what I'm feeling we're meant to do for each other, to hold that light, to raise the vibration of the world. The general translation of this Gayatri mantra in Sanskrit is, this is a general, not a word-for-word translation. O Divine Mother, may your pure divine light illuminate all realms of our being, physical, mental, and spiritual. Please expel any darkness from our hearts and bestow upon us true knowledge. The Balinese people believe there's one truth, many paths. Does that sound familiar? We always teach, right? There's one God, many paths. And they live it. They live it. I don't know how they manage to do that, but they do. So I wanted to talk more about this. In Balinese teachings and beliefs, there is no separation. There is no bad in the darkness. There is not necessarily any good in the light, because it's all part of the greater whole. It reminds me of that symbol. What's it called? Yin and yang symbol, where the dark half has a piece of white in it, and the white half has a piece of dark in it. So this idea that all the opposing forces are really only one, that there's no separation. So the good, the bad, the dark, the light, the female, the male, it's all one. Kathy Hearn one morning talked about non-duality. And I've been studying this with the Course in Miracles too. So she's talked about dispelling any ideas of separation, even of opposites like the earth and the sea that come together at Tanalat. And here's the quote that I just found so moving that she said to us one morning. Take this in. When you make the two one, and the inner is the outer, and the outer is the inner, and the above as the below, then you will see the kingdom of heaven. When you make the two one, and the inner is the outer, and the outer is the inner, and the above as the below, and the below as the above, then you will see the kingdom of God. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, in his statements of what we believe in Science of Mind, said we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. He also said we believe God is personal to all who feel his indwelling presence. When we talk about these bringing together of opposites and making them one, A Course in Miracles, in my lessons this past couple weeks, said that problem and answers coexist, which is kind of interesting. It said God has placed the answer together with the problem, so they cannot be separated by time. It's only because of time that we think the answer is somewhere else, not present where the problem exists. That's not really true. It is impossible, the Course says, that I could have a problem that has not been solved already. Can you imagine if we could really wrap our brains about this idea of non-duality and oneness, what it would mean? I think everything would shift. So when I went to Tanalat, that temple where the land meets the sea, we were told during the hour-and-a-half ride to the temple to maintain silence and to think about our intention for our blessing there. And my intention was to release duality, to get past this idea that a Republican, a Democrat, a progressive, a liberal, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a man, a woman, that they're separate, that they're somehow different or apart, or that I need to judge somebody, to let that go. And we were blessed by I was going to say the police, I don't know why. Jet lag, right? Jet lag. 2.5 hours of sleep is not enough. Can you show that picture again? I don't know if you can find it, Ben, of me sitting there. I mean, just the moving of being blessed by these priests. And the priests, too, they so appreciated that we had learned the etiquette and that we had learned the blessings. There's a whole ritual you do where, again, you cleanse yourself with the incense. And then the first blessing, you put your hands up and bring it down. And then you take flowers of different colors. First, it's white flower up here and down here. That represents God. And then it's multicolors. You pick different colors and you do this and down. And that represents a blessing for the temple. So there's a whole ritual. And you get sprinkled with holy water. And these priests, it reminded me, one year at the Parliament of World Religions, I sat in the middle of the Tibetan monks. We did not speak the same language, but I felt such love. I have a picture of me in bliss. And that's the way I felt with these priests, with their love that they radiate and their appreciation for our respect for their. And this Om Swastiastu is just that. It's honoring and respecting. It's like the Buddhist monks that I experienced in the temple in Ashland that, namaste, each time you greet somebody. All right, I knew this would go a little long, so I'm just going to be aware of time. The other thing that happened here was connection with nature. I mean, first of all, it is so gorgeous. We went snorkeling one day in the Blue Lagoon. And those of you who have snorkeled in tropical waters, we were below the equator, 2 hours, by the way, from Australia. So we're swimming with these fish, and it's like you're one of them. They're just shooting by you and coming up to you and, not afraid. At one point, I'm trying to get over my fear of snakes. And if you've watched my Facebook page, you saw me with a 100-pound python around my neck. It was really something. But I asked the guide on the boat if he could find me an eel, because I was in Bermuda once as a child with my parents and saw green moray eels, and I've forever been freaked out by eels. So he found me one. And, it's just the idea of appreciating nature in all of its forms. Later on, we went to Borneo. Check out my Facebook page with the orangutans. OMG. It was amazing. So I mention this because I felt this transformation after Tanalot. I felt this transformation by just being in the presence of this people that were so loving and kind and engaged. About 3 weeks before I left, I was with a bunch of clergy friends. I have coffee every Wednesday morning with an interfaith group of clergy. And for some reason, we got on the topic of tattoos. And I declared, I will never get a tattoo. Never say never. Because we were given the opportunity to get a tattoo. 5 of us did out of the 24 there. And I just felt called to wear some symbol of what Bali meant to me and the transformation that had happened for me spiritually and emotionally and mentally. And so I asked Made, it was Tude, another one of the guides, to help me find a Balinese symbol that would be meaningful for me. And I don't know if you can find the tattoo slide, Ben. There it is. So this is what the Balinese call the Trihita Karana. And what it symbolizes is harmonious union with humanity, with God, and with nature. So I have on my ankle the Trihita Karana. Because I don't want to forget. And I want to remember. I want to remain transformed, and I want to be able to help all of us raise the vibration and give up duality. So what does this have to do with Easter? I think it's all connected. The rolling away of that stone, I believe, represents as the reading indicated, and Andy's songs, releasing old beliefs of duality and separation and judgment, even judgment about ourselves. I'm going to digress a little bit because I forgot to mention when I talked about my intention to be open to love, one of the practices that Kathy Hearn did with us one morning was to think, and you might do this, think about the last 3 months. Make a guess of how many times you told someone else, I love you. Now, think about the last 3 months, how many times you said to yourself, I love you, Victoria. I love you, Bonnie. I love you, Will. Probably a different number, yes? So then she went around and she asked each of us to share our birthdays. So Kathy, in numerals, what's your birth date? Not the year, just the day in 10:30. Okay. So what everyone went around and shared their birth date. And then we were told at 10:30, Kathy, every morning and every night, when you see that on the clock, you say to yourself, I love you, Kathy. And Karen's been doing that for a couple of years now. And I mean, really, right? Why not? So let's see. What's left here? Rolling away the stone. What is it each of us would like to eliminate, leave behind, roll away the stone from those beliefs, those limitations that we've placed on ourselves? For me, it's judgments and any idea that I can be separate or less than or more than anyone else. To live from the Christ consciousness, which means live from that consciousness of oneness. We don't believe in New Thought teachings that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. We don't believe in original sin. We believe he was the greatest way shower. He taught, these things and more ye shall do. Know ye not that ye are gods? And his resurrection on Easter Sunday was again a reminder that we are not our bodies. We're inhabiting them for a time here, but we are eternal souls, just as he appeared to the disciples. By the way, the first thing he said when he went to that room where the disciples were hanging out, afraid about the Jews, that day, that Easter Sunday in the evening, Jesus appeared to the disciples, and I believe it was John 20:19. He said, peace be with you. That was his first words uttered. Peace be with you. And I believe when we're able to roll away the stone from the tomb of all that dark unbelief and limitation, we are at peace, yes? We're at peace with ourselves. We're at peace with our fellow people. We're at peace with our environment, with nature, and with God. Thus the Trihita Karana. I love this expression from the Course in Miracles. I allow the Christ vision to look through my eyes. And in terms of the resurrection, Ernest Holmes, in our series of belief statements, he said, we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever expanding. Remember at first Jesus told the disciples, don't touch me because I haven't really ascended yet. So we're forever expanding, just as he was. Deepak Chopra wrote this. He said, the symbolic language of the crucifixion is the death of an old paradigm. Resurrection is a leap into a whole new way of thinking. When life calls us to change and grow into our greater self, there's often that which must be crossed out, and that's the symbolism of the cross, crossing out what no longer serves us. But this requires intention and devotion, right? It's not always easy to let go of beliefs about ourselves or belief about others or beliefs about the world that are limited, that are not that cosmic union. And so I'm reminded with what Jesus would go apart and pray. Remember in the Bible, oftentimes when things were crazy, he would just go apart for a while and pray. The Balinese people, as I've explained to you, do devotions every morning. I know a lot of us meditate every day, but I'm encouraging all of us, whether you're a regular meditator already or not, to take a couple extra minutes every day, preferably in the morning. Our Muslim friends pray 3 times a day. When we were in Muslim parts of Indonesia, you heard the muezzin, whatever it's called, saying the prayer for everybody. And in Bali, that practice of daily devotions and offerings with the flowers, let's up our game. Let's up our game. We have 1,440 minutes every single day. Let's take time, not only in the morning, but in the middle of the day, to just focus on giving that moment to God, taking time out of the busyness. Our phones have an alarm. We could set an alarm, or we could do it when we eat lunch. What do you think? You on? You game? Yeah. So let me just look here and see if I'm missing anything. Today, I let Christ's vision look upon all things for me and judge them not, but give each one a miracle of love instead, A Course in Miracles. So I'm going to end this message this morning with this. It's a Hindu blessing. May you be safe. May peace be in your heart. May peace be on earth. And may peace be always. Om Shanti Shanti Om. God bless you. Om Swastiastu, my friends. Om Swastiastu. I love you. I'm going to pray.
I know.
You do know. I know every moment of every day there's beauty surrounding us. Beauty in the eyes of someone we meet, beauty in the natural world, beauty in the fish, the orangutans, our furry family members. All of nature sings with divinity. It drips with divinity. It is beauty. It is order. It is a gift from the Almighty Creator. Whether we call it God, Spirit, Brahman, whatever we call it, it is all there is. And I know each one of us can't be separate from that divinity, from that Spirit, from that Creator. We were created by it, from it, of it. And we are here to remember that. We are here to be at peace. We are here to express and feel reverence for ourselves, for our fellow humans, for the earth and all of its creatures, and certainly for our higher God, which is also our innermost God. So my prayer today is that we may be as devoted daily to remembering the divine, to honoring and respecting it, to giving thanks, and to dropping any notion that we can be separate from any other being. Let us remember that just as the Balinese coexist as Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, we too can coexist peacefully. No matter our political affiliation, our beliefs, our gender, our color, all of it. There are no divisions in God. There is only oneness. There is only non-duality. So may each of us practice that. May each of us become a beacon to lift the vibration of those around us immediately, and also to transform the vibration of the earth, because it is possible. This planet can change. If they can do it in Bali, we can do it as a planet. So giving great thanks for the opportunity to experience this beautiful people, I say suksama, which means thank you in Balinese. Matur suksama. Thank you so much, Balinese people, for being the light that you are, for showing us the way. May we remember that we don't know it all. Sometimes Americans get pretty cocky. We don't know it all, and we are one, and we can learn so much from each other when we're open-hearted. And when we look at people and honor people and not just walk by. Thanks for all of this. Thanks for today. Thanks for Easter. Thanks for this community. I give thanks for everyone who helped make this service possible. Everyone here for our children and our upcoming Easter egg hunt. I just released this word knowing it's heard. It's answered. Join me, please, in saying, so it is. Amen, sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers.
Today is a day for celebration. I'm so glad that I'm aware my good is everywhere. It's right where I am. I celebrate God's love, joy, peace, and harmony. Yeah. And I let the Spirit use me. Let God's love flow through me, for there's nothing else. Oh, think I'll stand up and celebrate this special day. Just stand up, oh, stand up and celebrate all that you are. Yeah, oh. Celebrate all that I am. Oh, just celebrate, yeah, all that you are. Stand up, oh, stand up and celebrate the good that you are, the joy that you are, the peace that you are. Just stand up, oh, stand up. Stand up for joy, stand up for peace, stand up for love, stand up for Easter. And let's celebrate. Oh yeah, just
Reverend Andy Anderson. All right, stand up.
Stand up and celebrate.
And you may sit down if you like now. Thank you so much. It's time now for our tithes and offerings. So if you would hold your gift in your hand or bless the basket as it goes by if you give online. Thank you all for continuing to support us, and thanks to those online as well. You can give on our website, cslroguevalley.org. So let's say our giving affirmation together. Graciously I give.
Graciously I give.
From a place of love.
Place of love.
Knowing that as I give.
Knowing that as I give.
So do I richly receive.
So do I receive.
So it is. Thank you, Lucas and Matt.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Thank you, Andy. I forgot to mention, hopefully most of you know, that we are now one, Unity and Center for Spiritual Living. So all checks now need to be made to CSL Rogue Valley because there is no separate account now. If you made it out to Unity, you'll be asked to change it. Let's see, a few announcements before we go to our Easter egg hunt. Last week's raffle was a big success, thanks to all. $419 a net, and I understand Corey just turned over the whole thing, so that's awesome. And thanks to Rev Steph for being our fundraising guru. Monday is men's group here at 11 a.m. I'm so grateful that group is happening. Women's drumming is tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. here.
The Unity Prayer and Reading Group and Tai Chi have changed times just a bit. So it's at 11 for the Prayer and Reading Group, 11:30 for the Tai Chi on Tuesday. Our first community visioning session is April 21st at 12 p.m. after service. There's no charge, but sign up if you're interested in Bosworth Hall. Rev Steph will be leading that. She is also teaching a new class called Journey of the Soul. It's a 6 weeks class starting April 24th from 5:30 to 8. Sign up in Bosworth Hall. She's an awesome teacher. Anybody who's taken a class from her can attest to that. Sign up for our newsletter if you're not getting it in Bosworth Hall. Prayer requests can be submitted either in the prayer box at the back of the sanctuary in Unity's prayer box in the Bosworth Hall. We will pray for you all week or for someone that you're concerned for. And we have an Easter egg hunt. So Kathy Green, thank you so much for organizing this. I think she wants to make a little announcement because we're going to change our habit here just a bit as service closes. Thank you, Easter Bunny.
Okay, we don't have very many kids today, so we get to bring out the kids and us. We're going to come in this door right here when the bell rings. Those 90 and up get to go first. And when the bell rings next, everybody below 90. There are so many eggs in there that you just grab anything you want. There's some baskets that have some stuff in it. If you know somebody that wasn't able to come today that would like something Easter, go ahead and grab that for them. If you feel like you need a basket, grab it for your own self. Self-care is important. And that's it. It's just for fun. There's lots in there. We are such a generous community. You wouldn't believe how much is, when those doors open and you walk in, our abundance shines. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy Green. So before we do our closing song, I'm going to ask our practitioners and ministers in the room to come forward because we're going to be held up in here and then Easter egg hunting. If you'd like a prayer, we're going to invite you, practitioners and ministers, to go into the front office or my office, if anybody. So I always say, don't leave here with a heavy heart. If there's something you want a prayer for, go ahead. And if you want to do the Easter egg